progress is supposed to save us. Better engines, smarter grids, efficient homes, each invention promises to use less and waste less. Yet history whispers a strange truth. Every time we learn to use less of something, we often end up using more of it. This is the Jevons paradox, the counterintuitive idea that improving efficiency can increase total resource consumption. It challenges one of our deepest modern beliefs, that technology alone will rescue us from scarcity. It began with coal, but its logic now defines the digital age, from energy-efficient chips to climate-friendly cars. The paradox reveals not a flaw in technology, but a flaw in how societies respond to it. Efficiency, it turns out, is not an ending. It's an invitation to expansion. In 1865, an English economist named William Stanley Jevons published a book called The Coal Question. He warned that Britain's industrial might rested on coal, yet every advance in steam technology seemed to only hasten the depletion of that same resource. The paradox was simple but devastating. As engines became more efficient, the cost of using coal dropped, making coal-powered machinery more profitable and widespread. What seemed like conservation became acceleration. Steam engines, once confined to mines and textile mills, spread to railways, ships, and factories across the empire. Demand for coal soared. The more efficiently Britain used energy, the more its industries multiplied, and the faster the coal seams emptied. Jevons concluded that technological progress, rather than prolonging Britain's supremacy, could hasten its decline by intensifying consumption. It was an unsettling prophecy that prosperity could contain the seed of exhaustion. To understand the paradox, just imagine buying a car that uses half the fuel. You expect your fuel bills to drop, right? But because driving now feels cheaper, you start taking longer trips, you visit more places, or maybe you even buy a larger, more powerful car next time. This behavior, where a reduced cost per use leads to greater total usage, is known as the rebound effect. When the rebound exceeds the savings, Jevons' paradox fully unfolds. In economics, this follows from the law of demand. A lower effective price drives higher consumption. But the paradox expands further. Efficiency not only reduces cost but also creates entirely new uses. Cheaper energy powered the birth of railways, steelworks, and urban lighting, industries that simply didn't exist before. So, efficiency doesn't just stretch old habits, it rewrites civilization's possibilities. The 19th century's coal engines became the 20th century's oil motors and the 21st century's data centers. Each innovation promised less per unit, and each multiplied the total scale. Efficiency is seductive because it looks like progress without sacrifice. It tells us we can have more convenience, more speed, and less guilt. But systems adapt. When lighting became cheaper with gas lamps, people illuminated streets, shops, and factories day and night. When incandescent bulbs were replaced by LEDs, total lighting use still rose, as cities and households simply installed more fixtures. The result is what economists call the rebound of abundance, the invisible growth that shadows every gain in efficiency. The paradox doesn't deny that efficiency improves our welfare. It just reminds us that in an expanding economy, efficiency is fuel for expansion itself. It's not a brake, it's an accelerator. Modern climate policy faces the exact same trap Jevons described. When governments promote energy-efficient appliances, vehicles, or industrial process, they expect emissions to fall. Yet, in global aggregate data, total energy use continues to rise. Between 1990 and 2020, energy intensity, that's the energy used per unit of GDP, fell by about 30%. Over the same period, total energy demand grew by over 60%. Efficiency improved, but the planet burned more fuel than ever. This is Jevons reborn in the Anthropocene. Energy that becomes cheaper per task stimulates new markets, products, and lifestyles. Air conditioning spreads to hotter regions, Cryptocurrency mining flourishes, and digital infrastructure consumes entire power grids. Each innovation that saves energy at the micro level expands total activity at the macro level. The paradox thus becomes ecological. How can humanity decouple growth from energy when efficiency itself multiplies the scale of use? At its heart, the paradox is psychological. Humans treat savings as permission. When something becomes easier or cheaper, we use it more liberally. In behavioral economics, this is known as moral licensing, the sense that efficiency earns us moral credit. People who buy fuel-efficient cars may drive farther. Those who use low-flow showers may take longer ones. The feeling of doing good becomes a license for excess. In consumer markets, this psychology becomes an industry. Every advertisement for eco-friendly products subtly reinforces the same message: buy more, worry less. Thus, the cultural system turns a technical solution into moral camouflage. Jevons was not a cynic. He believed that reason and science could improve human welfare. But he also saw that technology alone couldn't overcome the laws of scarcity. His paradox was not a rejection of progress but a call for prudence, a recognition that human desire expands faster than our capacity to restrain it. The paradox is a mirror of our civilization. Aequis, faith in control, the belief that we can engineer abundance without consequence. Each efficiency gain displaces old boundaries, and in doing so, creates new appetites. In economic systems that reward growth, even conservation technologies become engines of expansion. In the digital era, Jevons' logic has migrated from coal mines to cloud servers. Computing has become vastly more efficient, billions of calculations per second at a fraction of the energy once required. Yet global data traffic has exploded, and the total energy demand of the Internet now rivals that of some nations. Artificial intelligence, streaming, and cryptocurrency represent the latest stage of the rebound. Algorithms that optimize energy grids consume massive energy in training. Platforms that reduce transaction costs encourage limitless activity. The more efficiently we process data, the more data we produce. Governments often rely on technological optimism, the faith that innovation will solve environmental problems without changing consumption patterns. Energy-efficient housing, cleaner cars, or smart cities are framed as sufficient responses to climate change. But without structural limits, like carbon pricing, caps, or cultural restraint, efficiency gains are just reabsorbed by growth. Economists call this backfire. The more successful the innovation, the larger the system it enables. This creates a tension. Efficiency allows politicians to promise progress without confrontation, without asking people to consume less, travel less, or slow down. But the paradox ensures that comfort today becomes cost tomorrow. This isn't pessimism, it's realism about systems that adapt faster than our intentions. Efficiency has always been humanity's mirror. The plow, the loom, the steam engine, the microchip, each was a way to do more with less. Yet every time we learned to save time, we filled it with new labor. Every time we saved energy, we built new machines. In this rhythm lies a hidden truth. Efficiency is not a path to stillness but a rhythm of expansion. Nature teaches a similar lesson. Rivers that flow faster carve deeper valleys. Organisms that evolve to store energy often grow larger and hungrier. Civilization follows the same law. Energy saved is energy available, and energy available will be used. The Jevons paradox endures because it speaks to the heart of modern civilization, our struggle between control and desire. Efficiency, meant to liberate us from scarcity, often binds us more tightly to consumption. In the 19th century, it was coal. In the 21st, it is data and carbon. The names change, but the logic remains. Cheaper use invites broader use. True sustainability may not lie in better tools, but in better thresholds. The capacity to stop expanding when efficiency tempts us to grow. Jevons taught that progress without restraint is not progress at all. It's acceleration without a destination. The paradox isn't an obstacle to overcome, but a mirror to understand ourselves. When we finally learn to pair efficiency with sufficiency, to match innovation with moderation, the paradox will not disappear, but it will cease to rule us. Until then, the more we save, the more we spend. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the ideas that shape our world.